So here in this video we are going to discuss about how we can create a developers wiki for any kind of Python library. So although we'll not build a Python library, so to say, but we'll have some source code, some modules, sub-modules and scripts. What we'll do is we'll build a developer wiki for this kind of a project. We'll write some docstring and then we'll pass those docstring in our wiki so that we can document our source code. So to start with, what we need to do is we need to create a conda environment. So we'll start with this, and as you can see here that we are using Python 3.8. So I'll create a virtual environment here. Meanwhile it is getting created, this is the package we'll be using. Along with this, we'll be using a theme called materials for MKDocs. So this is the theme which we'll be using for this wiki, and also we will be using one package called MKDocstring for parsing all the docstring, right? So my virtual environment is created. I'll just activate this right now. I'm inside this virtual environment. I'll install the required packages now. Now one thing to note that other than MKDocs, MKDocstring and material, we're using some of the ancillary packages which we'll be using, and we'll discuss the use case in the subsequent section. So we have installed all the libraries in the respective environment. Now I'll use a CLI YML file. So as you can see here, it has created a mkdocs.yaml, and then it has created a docs folder and index.md inside the docs folder. So if we look into this mkdocs.yaml file, this will have all the instruction we need to have in order to generate the docs and show it as a website format. But that is like one use case of MKDocs. You can have, as usual, wiki, you can just add .md files over here, and then using that you can just show it as a static website. But in this video we'll be discussing how to parse docstring from a source code and show it as a part of MKDocs developers wiki. So now we have two basic files, whatever we need to start with MKDocs. So I'll close them. Now once we have this project created and we have MKDocs files over here, what we need to do is we need to create a genref.pages.py script. Although if you look into this blog over here, I will be following this, but I have made some customization in this blog in order to incorporate some of the required changes. All this reference will be attached in the blog post. We have a docs folder. I'll copy paste this content over here, and then I'll create genref.pages.py inside docs folder, and we'll go through this code in some time. We have this script over here. Now to start with, what we can do is we can just see how the basic wiki page looks like. So to do that, what we need to do is we need to do mkdocs serve, and if you open this URL, this is the look and feel of the vanilla MKDocs wiki. Now of course this is not very helpful and not very clean and organized, and it does not have much plugins. So in order to incorporate some of the cool design and some of the plugins, what we need to do is we need to include this theme, and we'll see how it can help us in the subsequent section. So I'll just add this, I'll clean this and run. So now if you revisit and reload this, you see that it has some of the, it's somewhat clean, I'll say, and lot of developers wikis are using this nowadays. For example, Fast API, Pydantic, all of its wiki is built using this project basically. So now we have a vanilla version of MKDocs and MKDocs material up and running. Next step is to uh, customize our code so that it can read. First, I think we need to generate some source code files which we can use for docstring parsing. So as a next step, what we'll do is we'll create all these files over here. First, I think to start with, what I'll do is I'll create a folder called src, and this will be our home for all the script files. Inside this, let's say we have a project which is kind of a module over here, and then we have respective submodular scripts inside this. So I'll create init.py over here, and this init.py make sure that this is a module or submodule, and then inside that we may have some other scripts. So these are the files which is present in the blog I have just referred earlier. I'm just customizing this a bit so that it can be contextualized. So let's say if we have these three files, right, now we need to add some scripts in it in order to render this using MKDocs. So I have some reference over here, some examples which I'll be using. So I'll just paste it over here, and another example I'll just take it from here and I'll put it over here. Now, although we have this functions with the respective docstrings, even now it will not show all the references over here, right? So to do that, what we need to do is basically, if you look into this example, you need to refer any docstring this way. So just for example, what we can do is maybe we can use this block and we'll replace it with the names. I need to use these two plugins to get it up and running. Cool. So as you can see, this thing works. So if you don't automate this process, right, you can just think that this submodules will keep increasing. It is not possible to add them one by one in each of the respective sections. So in next section, what we are trying to do is we'll set up a process so that automatically when we are generating the wiki, the code can recognize each module and walk in this directory to extract the files and then create respective MD files over here and then link them to the MKDocs section so that it can appear under a single menu, and then we can navigate and see the respective docstring. Now to do that, right, we have written a script which is going to this respective folder. It will recognize all the py files, it will replace the name with .md, and then it will save it in the index.md folder. It will save it in the docs file and then link them in index.md if init is there, or else it will add them to the summary page here, and later we will be linking that to our main MKDocs wiki. So if you look into this script here, this is what exactly it is doing. So here we are saying that if you guys remember that we have installed one package, this one. These three things will help us recognizing the files, creating the respective markdown files, and then linking them to the summary.md document. And then this will ensure that they come under one menu item, and then we'll have respective pages for respective submodules. Now, so here we have the script inside docs folder. We are linking it here using gen files script, and then we are pointing it to the respective script file, and then we are saying that create a summary page inside this docs folder, and then also what are the other things we need. Here we have the usual plugins which we'll be using here. So as next step, what I'll do is I'll copy and paste it in the MKDocs folder. Now we have this also in place. We have the respective class, and then maybe we can just build and serve. But just before that, one thing I just wanted to discuss is here this docstring is not written manually, so there are some extensions available in VS Code which we can use to get a boilerplate, and then we can populate it as per a requirement. The best part is if you have the static typing and default values present over here, it will give you a boilerplate with all of those things. So just to show one example, if I just delete this, and then if I do a name str, and then if I come here and then hit enter, it will give me a boilerplate. So what I need to do is I need to populate this on the fly. This is function summary, and then name string, name of a person, and then name of the person, right? Whenever you're done, if you hit tab, it will take you to the next section, right? This is how it works basically. Now let's say we have changed this docstring. Next is to validate if everything is coming up correctly or not. So let's do serve. So if you see here, it is taking up all the content from the respective folder. Also, you can decide you want to showcase source code or not. Right. Yeah, this is pretty much, you can validate that with build it is generating the static content like this. So here if you see, it has produced a site folder which has all the required HTML files. And then just to make things reproducible, we'll take a requirements.txt from the environment. Okay. Next we'll also dump the conda environment over here. Now I'll store it in the GitHub. Cool.